We've often been told that masturbation is perfectly normal, but how far is too far? How many times a day can one engage in this activity without crossing into addiction? What happens when it feels like you can't stop and your body and mind seem to crave more? In this video, we'll dive into these critical questions and explore why this seemingly harmless act may be hiding a dangerous trap for your life and well-being. Before we dive in, I want to offer my apologies for the exaggerated thumbnail. The goal here is not to shock, but to draw attention to a critical issue in the 21st century that affects both young people and adults, leaving many without willpower, self-discipline, and mental clarity. By watching this video, you'll learn what happens to your brain from both a scientific and philosophical perspective, including how ancient Stoic philosophy can help us deal with this complex vice. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming content. Now, let's begin. Understanding masturbation in the modern context. Modern medicine is clear in its stance. Masturbation is a natural behavior. It's not just a human activity, but something that occurs in animals as well. Dogs, for example, and other mammals. However, this view was not always universally accepted. In earlier times, masturbation was often considered immoral. In the case of men, it was believed to waste valuable reproductive potential. This was rooted in the idea that men should preserve their semen for procreation, a notion that was tied to moral and social expectations of the time. For women, masturbation was seen as an even greater taboo. It was thought to distance women from men, as they could find pleasure independently and no longer need the presence of a partner. These views were often reinforced with claims about physical harm, such as the belief that masturbation led to illness, infertility, or even madness. Masturbation today, is it harmful? In modern times, science has largely debunked the myths that masturbation is inherently harmful. However, the conversation has shifted toward understanding its effects, particularly when done excessively. So, what do we know about masturbation today, especially in relation to men who experience insomnia or struggle with sleep? Research indicates that masturbation can help facilitate sleep. Studies conducted by the French Institute of Health and Medical Research show that after orgasm, the male brain deactivates sexual desire and the cerebral cortex, the area responsible for conscious thought, enters a rest state. This explains why many men feel sleepy after sexual activity. But here's the catch. Within the potential benefits of masturbation lies a trap. If you're familiar with our channel, you'll understand what I'm getting at. Masturbation releases dopamine in the brain, a hormone responsible for feelings of pleasure, relaxation, and stress relief. On the surface, this might seem beneficial. After all, it helps us unwind and relax, but this is precisely the mechanism that leads some individuals to become addicted. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders has classified hypersexuality, excessive masturbation, as a compulsive behavior akin to obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD. This addiction can lead to severe consequences, both mentally and socially, and can create an overwhelming sense of dependency on the dopamine released during masturbation. The dopamine cycle and addiction. As with other forms of addiction, masturbation addiction often spirals out of control. The need for dopamine can drive some individuals to engage in more extreme behaviors. For example, excessive consumption of pornography, engaging in risky sexual behaviors, or seeking multiple sexual partners are some ways the brain attempts to flood itself with more dopamine. Initially, these activities might provide a sense of pleasure, but over time, your brain adapts to the increased dopamine levels and begins demanding even more to experience the same satisfaction. This cycle creates a constant need for more, whether it's more frequent masturbation or more extreme forms of gratification. Eventually, the brain's receptors for dopamine begin to lose sensitivity and the pleasure diminishes. This can lead to frustration and dissatisfaction, similar to other addictive behaviors, such as smoking, overeating, or even alcohol dependency. The role of Stoicism in overcoming masturbation. Addiction. At this point, you may be wondering, what does Stoicism have to do with this issue? Stoics like Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus, masters of self-control, viewed pleasure and desire from a unique lens. For them, pleasure was not inherently bad, but indulgence without control could lead to misery. These ancient philosophers taught that self-control and moderation were keys to true happiness. Epictetus, in particular, emphasized that true joy comes not from fleeting pleasures, but from the ability to master our desires and live in accordance with our values. Stoicism is not about repressing natural desires or shaming ourselves for seeking pleasure. It is about understanding our emotions and desires, then mastering them. When we give in to excessive indulgence, we disrupt the balance between our actions and our values, which can leave us feeling disconnected and restless. Instead of being enslaved by our desires, Stoics believed that we should become masters of them. The benefits of Stoic practice and self-control. Through introspection, mindfulness, and disciplined self-regulation, we can regain control over our emotions and impulses. By practicing these Stoic principles, we become more aware of our desires and can make conscious decisions that align with our long-term goals. Excessive masturbation, driven by the constant pursuit of pleasure, leads to feelings of guilt, shame, and dissatisfaction. This negative cycle can be broken by focusing on self-control and the development of inner peace. I'd like to share a personal story. I know someone who struggled with compulsive masturbation. This individual sought temporary relief and pleasure, but found themselves in an emotional whirlwind afterward, feeling guilty, anxious, and unfulfilled. By adopting Stoic teachings and practicing mindfulness, this person transformed their life. They learned how to regain control over their impulses, find joy in self-discipline, and experience lasting happiness through the mastery of their emotions. Today, they live a life of authenticity and peace, free from the constant pull of fleeting desires. Finding true fulfillment, a life of purpose. Ask yourself, do you truly believe that spending your time indulging in these fleeting habits will make you successful, confident, or attract meaningful relationships? Likely, the answer is no. Instead, true fulfillment comes from living a life aligned with your deepest values and principles. It comes from the ability to resist temporary temptations and focus on long-term goals. Take control of your life today. Write in the comments, I am a strong person. I have control over my mind. I choose to do what improves me and motivates me to become the best version of myself. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more empowering content. Together, we can build a community focused on personal growth and self-improvement.